Good evening, everyone. Good evening, councillors-elect, family, friends and staff. I think I've met everyone now this evening, but if I haven't, I'm Kayleen Conrick. I've got the pleasure of officiating tonight's proceedings, and I look forward to it very much. Before I proceed, I will acknowledge that this ceremony is being held on Taungurung country, and I pay my respects to the elders, past, present and emerging. I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge that this week is NAIDOC week, and this year's theme, Always Was, Always Will Be. Always Was, Always Will Be recognises the First Nations people have occupied and cared for this continent for over 65,000 years, and that our nation's history and story began at the dawn of time. NAIDOC Week provides us all with the opportunity to reflect and celebrate the history, cultures and achievement of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Welcome to this auspicious occasion. Unlike another recent election in the Northern Hemisphere, with our election there were no allegations of fraud or illegal voting. It is characteristic of the Mansfield Shire that elections are fought with respect and fairly, and this year's was no exception, albeit under unusual circumstances that COVID-19 has forced upon us. This evening it is my pleasure to conduct the swearing-in ceremony of the newly elected councillors for the 6th Mansfield Shire Council since de-amalgamation in 2002. It is an incredible honour to serve your community as an elected representative. It is also a hard but rewarding role, one that I personally, as CEO, have enormous respect for. This evening, our councillors-elect will take their oath or their affirmation of office. They will commit to serving their community for 4 years, a community that is passionate and progressive. As CEO, I wish you all the best in your elected representative role, and my commitment to you as councillors is that I and the organisation are here to support you to successfully lead, and I look forward to working with you to ensure the best outcomes for the Mansfield community. Before you assume your duties as councillor, and in accordance with the Local Government Act 2020, each councillor-elect is required to take an oath or affirmation of office. I would like to acknowledge at this point that Councillor-elect Paul Sladden is unable to be with us tonight and will take his oath or affirmation of office separately. As a result of the 2020 election of councillors for the Mansfield Shire, the Victorian Electoral Commission officer Jim Randall declared the following election results on the 5th of November 2020. James Tehan, Mark Holcomb, Rowan Webb, Paul Sladden, Steve Raby. Section 30 of the Local Government Act 2020 provides that a person elect to be a councillor is not capable of acting as a councillor until the person has taken the oath or affirmation of office in a manner prescribed by the regulations. Further, Section 31 of the Act provides that the office of councillor becomes vacant if a person elect to be councillor does not take the oath or affirmation of office within 3 months after the day on which the person was declared elected. In accordance with the Act, the oath or affirmation of office must be administered by myself, the Chief Executive Officer, dated and signed before the Chief Executive Officer and recorded in the minutes of the Council, for the minutes of Council, whether it is taken or not at a Council meeting. I now get to the nice part. I now ask Councillor-elect James Tehan to come forward and declare his oath or affirmation of office. Thank you.
I, James Tehan, will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interest of the municipal community. I will abide by the Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the Councillor Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 or any other act to the best of my skill and judgment. Oh, sorry. Okay. Look, thanks everyone. It's a great honour and privilege to be elected to this position, and I'd just like to thank all the people who voted for me. I'd also like to thank all the people who didn't vote for me, but I'll do my best to honour the whole community, all the ratepayers, to the best of my ability. I'd like to thank all the other candidates who stood. I think it was great to have such a big field. It proves that the democratic process is alive and well in the Shire. And I'd also like to thank my fellow elected councillors who are here tonight, and look forward to working with you for the next 4 years and hopefully achieving a lot. One little story that I'd just like to relate to you. In 1965, actually, when I was born, these council offices next door were opened, and my grandfather, the late Jim Teen, was mayor then. So one particular story that I was interested in reading from his memoirs just recently was that when he first joined council, there was 14 councillors in the Mansfield Shire then, and it's been whittled down to 5 now, so we've got a lot more responsibility than those guys did back then. And he also noted that council meetings were held on a full moon in that time and beforehand, so that after a full day's meeting and a couple of drinks after, they were able to get home without the assistance of headlights, which some of them obviously didn't have. So it's a great privilege to carry on that family tradition. So anyway, thank you, and yeah, good night.
I now ask Councillor-elect Mark Holcomb to come forward and declare his affirmation of office. Thank you.
Thanks, Carla. I, Mark Holcomb, will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the Councillor Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 or any other act to the best of my skill and judgment. Thank you. I'm afraid I can't top James's story, and I wanted to try to do that with the history that James has and his family has in this community. I would like to thank, as James said, everyone in the Shire who was involved in the election. It was a quite competitive election, I thought, but it was debated and fought in good nature, which is a long way from some of the other elections we've seen around the globe. So, and that, to me, is part of what this community is all about. And what I want to do is say I'm honoured and privileged to be not only part of this community, but to now be supporting this community or working for this community. I'd also like to thank our successful candidates here tonight, and I really look forward to working with you all. and hopefully when we leave in 4 years' time, we would have been proud of the job that we've done. I'd also like to say that I'm really looking forward to working with the council, Kayleen, you and your team. So I'm sure it'll be a good relationship. So thank you very much. Oh, sorry, one other thing I'd just like to thank. But it's just, there are a lot of people who support all of us who stand for election. It's not a single job. There's a lot of people who've supported me. They know who they are, and I'd really like to thank them all. No more so than my wife, who is taking my role in this council with some degree of trepidation, what that involves. But thank you. Thank you.
And Julie, yoga will be very important over the next 4 years. I now ask Councillor-elect Rowan Webb to come forward and declare his affirmation of office. Thank you.
I, Rowan Webb, will undertake the duties of the Office of Councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out by the Councillor Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 or any other act to the best of my skill and judgment. I'm humbled to be standing in front of you all today. As you're all well aware, I'm very young, and it's a sign of the times in Mansfield for somebody of my age to be standing in front of you. This isn't something I did alone. I had a strong team of diverse, energetic young men and women behind me that allowed me to be standing here before you today. And without them, I wouldn't be here, and I give my thanks to them greatly, and they know exactly who they are. My family, without them, I couldn't have done it either. Their continuing support helped me be here in front of you today and continue to support me to be the man I am today. And I know that taking this office will mean I will have less family time to share with them, and they understand that and they still support me. Moving ahead, I think now more than ever is the time that we need to work together. All of us as councillors need to pull together in the same direction. We need to encourage our community to do the same, and we need to work as closely and in sync with the council executive in the same. Otherwise nothing will be achieved. But I know that this group of people, leaders in our community, we can do it together. Thank you.
I now ask Councillor-elect Steve Raby to come forward and declare his oath of office.
I, Steve Raby, will undertake the duties of the Office of Councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the Councillor Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 or any other act to the best of my skill and judgment. last but not least, great speeches by the three councillors now before me. I totally agree with each and every one of you, and it is a large responsibility. I've been in Mansfield since 1983, when I came up here from Bendigo, a flat land with no trees, and I thought, how good is this? This is the most beautiful place in Victoria. So I'm very, very happy to be elected. It was a very competitive cast of people that ran, and I realised that I am lucky to have been elected, but the people that did vote for me wanted someone in there to have a say for them. Now I realise I represent everyone, and that's what I will try and do. Everyone has a voice, and we need to listen to that voice. We need to make Mansfield the best shire in Australia, not just Victoria. So I will work with Kayleen and my fellow councillors, and I'm looking forward to the 4 years, and I think we'll really achieve something positive and dramatic. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Steve. Can we put our hands together and congratulate all the councillors-elect. At this point, we'd usually say, please stay for food and drinks, but understand with COVID we can't do this. So I hope you've all got something nice planned this evening to celebrate and acknowledge the great milestone, your beginning of a 4-year term. Again, congratulations and thank you.